Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the eastern Mediterranean port city of Tyrus, where for many centuries a unique purple dye was made that was valued amongst the East Roman nobility. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Total War Attila, the Eastern Roman Empire, and history. And I've decided to get away from the emperors for a bit because we've been talking about emperors for 10 episodes now, so I thought it'd be neat to explore some other topics, and in this episode, we'll speak more about this purple dye. But for right now, we just had a victory at Rhodes, where we defeated the Italians who came at us from Sicily. And so one of the things I wanted to do was move troops over to Sicily to conquer it. However, there's a problem. Sicily has a dedicated navy, and that is not to be underestimated. They can take on 5 times their number of regular troops. So, what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try to cross quickly over into Italy and then march down. So we're going to go back to Thessalonica, and we're going to embark from Dyrrhachium, if possible, and land in Tarentum. I'm going to send this guy because he's a great general, but also I don't want to risk Arcadius, who's our best general, on something that's pretty risky. Arcadius is going to move back up to Sirmium because they hate us there, and I simply can't afford to convert things. I mean, I could, but it's really expensive. For example, the city here, if I want to convert this, tell me how much it costs. I don't want to actually do it. I want you to tell me how much it costs. Oh, here we go. So we can't even afford it in 1 full term's worth of income. That's how expensive it is. So I just simply can't do it. So we're just going to wait for the rebels to spawn, and we're going to kill them. At the same time, we're going to watch out for Illyria, who has a full stack, just waiting to cause trouble as well. With regards to what I am going to spend money on, I've found a bit of synergy that I like here. I've been watching a lot of other Let's Plays on Attila, one on the East Romans, but a bunch on number of things, and I've learned a couple things. For example, if I upgrade this to a Tabernae, it does improve, it does take away from public order, but it gives me 5% from all buildings, right? So then the tanner here will improve its wealth, and if I build sheep here, the tanner improves the wealth from the sheep. So it all works synergistically together. Plus the Tabernae also gives us money on its own, 750, which we're going to need. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to build sheep. What I may do is down in the islands, I might transition some of the sheep farms into wheat farms to maximize the fertility of those provinces. Another thing I'm going to do is the city of Kartli has declared war on us. Now we do have an ally here who looks like they're strong enough to take them, but just to assist, I'm going to raise a larger army here in Amida. I'm going to get spearmen because they're the only things you can make in 1 turn. Although next turn is winter. So maybe waiting 2 turns is actually not that big of a problem. I don't know. Okay, archer, legio, and 2 spearmen. Okay. So we're out of money. There are the Huns. Always got to keep an eye on them. Libya is experiencing unusual seasonal conditions. Well, that's a shame. Alright. You, sir, are actually going to move closer down here. Let's go to Berenice. And you are just going to hang out. As soon as the new stables is available, you're going to recruit higher level cavalry. But it's going to be 3 turns, I think, before that's ready to go. That is correct. Alright. So the ancient purple dye came from the Eastern Mediterranean, as we discussed. It was utilized by the Phoenicians as early as the 16th century BC, which is about 2,000 years before where we are in this game. Actually, Phoenicia actually means the land of the purple, probably for that dye. And so there is some speculation due to archaeological evidence that the Minoan civilization of ancient Crete was using this dye or a similar dye as much as the 20th century BC. But for the most part, it's attributed to the Phoenicians. And what it is it's a secretion from a variety of sea snails in the Eastern Mediterranean. There's one called the Bolinus brandaris, and there's one called the Hexaplex trunculus. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But right now, they want us to build a church. No. We've been blessed with a son. Yes! Constantinopolis, however, has the consumption. No. And so does Trapezus. Alright, we need to raise a fleet. I was just about to think that we should. Now, what do they mean when they say raise a fleet? Do they mean any fleet? Like one ship? Or does it have to be a certain size fleet? Let's see here. See, procrastinator, right? Zeal -1. Maybe that'd be a good way to get rid of Rufinus, actually, is to make him an admiral. He's 51. He's just sitting around, otherwise not doing anything. Might as well give some influence to our faction. Alright, so we won the mission. And that gave us +1 for all recruits. Okay. Just to see what kind of stuff can we build. Liburnian galley. Liburnian skirmisher. Artillery. And a... Ooh, Greek fire. Very expensive, though. I'm going to stay away from that for right now. I will build 2 regular marines, maybe, and some bowmen. So we can build 5 ships in 2 turns. Why not? Okay, we'll do 5 ships. So, actually, we'll do 3 infantry and 2 bowmen. I have really no experience with the Navy, so we'll see how that goes. For research, we have a couple options. If we research these 2 here, which benefit us militarily, we will get less recruitment cost. However, if we jump immediately to this, it won't get anything for us, but we'll get cataphracts, better spearmen, and better legions. So I'm going to do that. 9 turns is a long time, but I'm a patient man. So last turn we took care of Cilicia, and that's going to take 3 turns to bear fruit. So now, oh, let's make our goldsmith. There we go. So you can only do this if you have both gems and gold, and it gives you 1,200 wealth from commerce, and it improves the trade of your entire nation by 5%. Whereas this only gives you 1,200 wealth. So that's the big difference. And 2,000, I think Rhodes got a little beat up. It did. Let's fix it. Okay. The city is good. We'll move you around. Okay. Arcadius. So it looks like these guys, Illyria, they're going to attack Salona again. Man, Salona is just... However, if we just march over there, we're going to suffer attrition. It's too bad we can't base ourselves in our allies' cities. That would make a lot of sense, but unfortunately they don't allow that. So we're going to retire to... Well, should I go to Sirmium? And then come around? Yeah, let's do that. Let's just... Archie, just go to Sirmium. Come on, man. There we go. Alright. So, they will forestall the inevitable rebellion here for a couple turns by being in the city. You are going to go to Berenice. There we go. And they're going to replenish, and eventually we're going to declare war down here. Hopefully our allies will assist us in that endeavor. And you are going to do what I said you were going to do. Let's actually get on the water. I might have force marched. Can you force march in the sea? I don't even know. So we're incredibly vulnerable right now, but I don't think they could reach us. Pretty sure. No, they cannot. So we're okay. Ooh, Eutropius has gained a skill. Let's go with public order and less corruption. And this gentleman also, public order, less corruption. And we can get a companion. Wealth. Absolutely. So these sea snails, like an octopus, if they are prodded or threatened, they release this dye as a secretion. Now, they use it for other purposes as well, but this is probably how people found out about it. Somebody touched the snail and got purple dye squirted at them. So it is theoretically possible, though incredibly labor-intensive, to milk the snails to get the dye, but that's not how they did it. You're going to pay us to attack the Saxons? Saxons are tough cookies, but okay. Or declare war on them, that is, not attack them.
The Emperor.
So what they were done with instead is they were put in these giant vats where they were left to decompose. And this, somehow, over time, turned into the dye. We have, at this point, forgotten the ancient methods that were used to mass produce this dye, though some scientists have been able to approximate it using modern methods.
We see no profit in continuing hostility. Let us move towards peace.
Okay, so if I accept peace with Illyria, that will free them to attack the Western Romans. Or no. No, they're not even attacking the Western Romans. Yeah, sure. Peace. Let's give peace a chance.
Now.
All right. This man, hungry for power, has positioned himself to take office without your approval. He is a governor? No, he wants to be master of soldiers. Yeah, I'll let him do that. Because I have another plan. I want this guy to be master of foot. Excellent. Now the balance of power has shifted. Our power has dropped to acceptable, which lowers the integrity of our forces, which normally is a bad thing, but my armies are pretty integritous right now. I just made up that word, I think. It does, however, lower my tax rate, but it improves public order, so I think, actually, it's kind of a win-win. Alright. We're still recruiting here. Oh, no, we're not. We're ready to go. Alright. Time to die, Cartley.
Ready for orders.
The Romans are coming. We're going to make your day very sad. Maybe I'll make them also a puppet state. Sometimes you don't really want to conquer people because it takes too much money to convert everything and make it all work. It's better just to have them give you money. Now, if there was some way, like in Europa Universalis, where a vassal state could eventually get adopted into your nation peacefully, that would be fantastic.
March.
That would be truly fantastic.
More orders.
Okay, we're all set here. Let's do some scouting.
On the move.
It is a long walk
Ready for further orders.
down here. That's one thing. And we're not going to do anything until our situation in Sicily is resolved. Arcadius, now that we are at peace, doesn't have any problems with the Illyrians. What are you doing exactly? You were marching around my lands, but you're not causing any trouble. I'm okay with that.
Call this a garrison. Waiting for more orders.
Let's stay in Sirmium to stave off
At your command.
the rebellion.
It
And
is an
you
honor to serve Rome.
are going to land in Italy.
Disembarking.
Excellent. Alright, so we're going to march all the way down here and attack the Sicilians, or actually they're Italia, I believe. Alright, we have a bunch of money. What do we want to do with it? The Huns are kind of marching in our land, but they're not raiding, so we're cool. We have a non-aggression pact. Where can we utilize this money? Things are getting better here since we built the Greek shrine. A maintenance cost of 400. Wow, for the Greek martyrium. Ooh, I don't know if that's a good investment. Things are pretty okay here. Happiness is getting better, though moderately. A reservoir would make it even better, but we don't really need the sanitation boost. This would improve the garrison, though we don't really need an improved garrison here. It's right in the middle of our empire. This will lower public order, but will lower construction costs for sanitation buildings and provide wealth for industrial buildings, though it won't itself produce any wealth for me. It does give us lead, though, to trade. No, I'm going to stay away from that, too. I wish I could upgrade the municipium. So, I could do fishing jetties to give us some wealth and more food. And then I'll have to go in there and fix the squalor. Or I could do both in the same turn. Or I can improve the wheat fields. Well, since this is not a very fertile province, I think the fishing jetties might be a better idea. Maybe. Or trade jetties would give me twice as much money. But no food. This only gives us 50 food. Well, you know what? As the climate continues to get worse, fishing probably will be our only source of food that's easy to be obtained. So, fishing jetties, and we'll improve the squalor and public order. This gives better sanitation, but this gives more public order. The choice again, do I go with growth? We could use growth in our capital city, but there will be growth anyways. I think sanitation's the better way to go. Alright, we still have some money. So that's that province. Let's look up here in Bithynia. Squalor's still bad here, so we can definitely improve this. And that'll do it for us. Alright, excellent. Gaius Afuldius. You are the governor of Asia. Oh, you're the horsey guy. Right. Now, I think I might be doing this wrong, because I think this means that he has to recruit the units himself to get the bonus, not necessarily units recruited in his province that he is the governor of, but I'm not sure. So it doesn't make it clear. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not. But I will get more public order and less corruption, which means more money in my pocket. Okay. So why was the dye from these snails so valuable?
Only the greatest dare speak of peace to their enemies. Only the weak seek the death of all.
I could make peace with the Allans. This will, however, cause them to continue to sack Italia. But since there's not much I could do about it, well, I guess I could divert the army up here to fight them, to save Rome. Oh boy, I just don't know. That's a tough choice. I really want to go after Sicily. I wish I could see the map right now and see what kind of troops they have. There's probably a way to do that. Okay, I've done this now, but how do I get over there? I guess I can't. Alright. I mean, it is Rome. Sorry.
I am loyal to all.
I can't let Rome fall. That would be very irresponsible of me. So, The reason why this dye was so valuable is because it was color fast. That is to say, it didn't dilute with washing. So if you dyed a fabric this purple, they claimed it even got better the more you wore it. Like the more sun got on it, the more you washed it. It actually, the color got deeper. In normal situations, the color fades, as we know from washing clothes. It was also incredibly rare and labor intensive to produce, so not everybody and their brother could have a purple dye factory. So that, obviously due to scarcity, makes something valuable. The specific color that the Byzantines liked was, they referred to it as a blackish, clotted blood color. It was more of a red than what we would consider today as a purple. It was created by mixing the secretions from two of the separate snails. You started with the trunculus snail, and then you followed it with the brandaris snail. Yes. I will attempt right now to recreate the color on the screen. It won't be, of course, perfect because it never is, with monitors being different and whatnot, but I'll try very hard to recreate the actual Tyrian purple color with text or something on the screen. Britain wants to be at peace? Sure. You're too far away for me to do anything anyway. What's kind of funny is that the vats that they used to produce this dye smelled horribly. The ancient sources actually confirm this. It smelled so bad, apparently, that the Talmud, which was a Jewish book of law, I guess, actually stated that a woman could divorce a man she was married to if he became a dyer. Because the smell was just so bad. Misdirect army. Was it successful? Yes. He doesn't have much influence. Arcadius has a lot more. Do I use his influence? Or mine? Let's use his. He'll gain it by being an amazing general. So the color of Tyrian purple was always favored by royalty, not just Roman royalty. But the Romans actually made a law, I believe it was under Diocletian, when he was trying to stipulate that the emperor was better than the common people in his effort to seem like a god, that he placed a law that actually said that only the emperors could produce and use this color purple. Though it doesn't seem like that law worked very well, because reading Marcellinus, whenever there was a usurper who was raised up by the troops, they always had some kind of purple garment to give him.
Ready for battle.
Alright, well, they didn't stop us that much. Alright, fine. Alans, you leave us no choice.
Forgive me, but I cannot.
We're going to leave Sicily for a moment. We're going to come up here and defeat you,
Gathering supplies.
and then we'll go to Sicily. Now, the Byzantine production of this Tyrian purple dye actually ended in 1204 when the city of Constantinople was sacked by the Latins. Ooh, here's our beautiful new shiny navy. We're just going to stay around here for right now. We're just going to keep an eye on the Black Sea.
The waves still beckon. Hard on the oars, you men.
Because after that time, though it still existed, and it was used still in the Eastern Mediterranean, nobody who had control of this territory, none of the Byzantines or the Latin Empire when they were around, had the financial or just in general resources to get the dye. So that's the last time you really see it in reference to the Roman Empire. Alright. Oh, look at this. Everyone's gaining levels. You, sir, are going to have better authority. And cunning is good, I guess, but melee defense is better. Melee defense plus 6. Boom. Okay. You, well, you don't need anything, really. I'll give you... You don't need integrity, even, because your troops aren't really going to be fighting. You're just going to be moving them around. So... what you need is stuff that helps with recruitment. That's this right here, recruitment cost. So we'll give you... oh, recruitment capacity. So we'll give you these two. Perfect. And none of these are really that good for you. So... okay. move you around. Actually, folks, we are running out of time, so I'll do all the moving around off camera. And next episode, I have a special historical talk for you about something you probably didn't expect at all. So stay tuned. I'm Marcus Aurelius. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.